we? Are we there? I think we are. Hello. This is not good food. I just throw some greens together. And it's really not the best food. But then I squeezed an orange over it and a little bit of syrup, and now it's better. So 2024, has been, I think, the hardest year of my life. 2024 has completely destroyed me. And it's funny to reflect on that, it's... When I got onto my journey of self-actualization and self-realization, when I was there, 15, 16, and I discovered Zen Buddhism, and I discovered psychedelics. Hey Takami! Kuzan, Yanis, greetings to you, brothers. I was thinking if I was gonna come to you and come visit you. Maybe I will still come. If you're awake for a little while longer, greetings to the woods. I was overflowing with so much joy and love, back then, that I wanted to share this. So this is how this whole sharing started. Even with Takami. You see that channel name in the Livestream chat, Takami Anime? That's one of my previous channels. It's funny. And then I recognized the value of suffering. Kind of early on in my journey. And I was praying to God, basically, for suffering. I was please God, my life is too good. I have been too blessed in my life with so much good stuff. I haven't gone through that much hardship. It's good chaga mushroom tea. And I was basically, praying for hardship. I was please, anything. A disease, a broken heart, the death of a loved one. Even though I consciously, I wouldn't wish it for anybody or myself, deep inside of me, there was something that knew that from suffering there's gonna be so much growth. Such a teaching from the suffering itself. And now it came around. It's last year it started a little bit, and now it came around, and I really faced some serious and not so serious. What is serious? Challenges, and this really put the teachings to the test. This suffering, these challenges that we're experiencing, this pain, this is putting the teachings, the lofty spiritual ideas to the test. This is really the real practice. It's fun and games to realize infinite love in your psychedelic journeys, to read it in a scripture, to intellectually kind of tell yourself that you know that. But then to be in an experience of incredible suffering, darkness, sickness. And in these experiences, apply the teachings, live that. Free yourself from suffering, or enjoy it, appreciate it. See it with a sense of humor. That's where the rubber meets the road. Spiritual lofty ideas get put into practice. So today I would like to reflect on 2024 together with you. I have a few questions prepared, some exercises. We're going to reflect on the whole year. I'm going to reflect on my year, and you can follow along with the guided inquiry and contemplation to reflect on your year, because 2024 is coming to an end. What a crazy year. For me, much has happened and also not so much at the same time. It's weird. It's always this paradox of time and the perception of the passing of time. It's so weird. Like every particular day, it feels like so much is happening and not so much is happening at the same time. Same for the week, same for the month, same for the years. Sometimes it seems like there's so much happening, but sometimes it also seems like there was not much progress happening at all, or not as much as I would like to be. And we'll also, if we're going to come to this, look ahead into 2025. It's a funny thing to have New Year resolutions and look ahead, because basically I'm not really doing it. For me, it's like it's a continuous process. There's no specific day where I say like, okay, these are my goals for the year, because my goals, they're the same, like they're consistent, and I start to realize them today, like not in 4 days. I'm not waiting for a new year to come around to start making progress on my vision. It's I find it a little bit funny that we do that, but it is a very nice time, like birthdays, New Year's, and whatever. It's a nice time to reflect, sit back, and actually see like, okay, this arbitrary timeline of 364 or 5 days, what has happened over those days. But as always, I would like to start with the song. We're gonna sing Hey Wani. It's a traditional North American mantra, I would say. I don't know. Which means heart, and Nikiti means brother or sister. So hey brother, hey sister, we're all related through the heart. Hey Wani, 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 hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, Wani, 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 hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, Nikiti, hey, Wana, hey, Nikiti, hey, Wana, Asse Wana, hey, Wana, Asse Wana, hey, Wana, hey, Nikiti, hey, Wana, hey, Nikiti, hey, Wana, Asse Wana, hey, Wana, Asse Wana, hey, Wana, hey, Nikiti, hey, Wana, hey, Nikiti, hey, Wana, Asse Wana, hey, Wana, Asse Wana, hey, Wana, hey, sisters, we all are one, hey, brothers, we all are one, no matter where we're going to, no matter where we're coming from. Hey Nikiti, hey Wana, hey Nikiti, hey Wana, Asse Wana, hey Wana, Asse Wana, hey Wana, hey Wani, 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 hey yo, hey yo, hey Wani, 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 hey yo, hey yo, hey Nikiti, hey Wana, hey Nikiti, hey Wana, Asse Wana, hey Wana, Asse Wana, hey Wana, hey Nikiti, hey Wana, hey Nikiti, hey Wana, Asse Wana, hey Wana, Asse Wana, hey Wana. Okay. So, where do we start this? Anybody has any idea of where we could start our inquiry? Because I do not have an idea. We could go through the year month by month, you know? Because for myself, I remember certain highlights in the year. Like there's some highlights I remember that happened throughout the year. It's not that many, but it's a few. But I don't remember, like if you think back right now to January, February, you know, this year, what happened? Like, who was I? What happened? Like, what was I doing? I have no clue. That's, I think, why it's super valuable to have a calendar. I think it was my first year. Well, I had a little different one last year, but this year I had a very special calendar, and it was so good. Like, it was so needed. It's a weekly calendar with time frames for the whole day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. with notes. There's a little thing with like what kind of people you want to contact, or like certain appointments and things, and it's so good. Like, I can highly recommend. I'm a physical guy. Like, I need to write down something physically. I can't do it in my phone or something. But it's like, this thing has saved my life. So big upgrade. I got the same one for the next year. It's like, I can't live without those anymore. Big upgrade, big recommendation. Get a calendar, a physical calendar. And if you want to at least put your life in order, it's highly recommended. So now I can also look back basically and say like, okay, in January, what did I do? Like, I can actually look at my days and see what I did during the month. And it's a whole mess, so I'm not going to do this. But one thing I remember, which relates to this topic of why 2024 completely destroyed me, is I remember around a year ago, maybe a bit more than a year, I got sick. And I had some stuff going on with physical health issues before that. But I remember, I think it was Christmas last year, Christmas 2023, where I got sick very heavily, I physically. And I was emerging out of my spiritual emergency, my spiritual crisis. You can check that out on my channel. There's a whole video series, it's a whole playlist regarding my spiritual emergency. So basically I had this crazy experience where I combined MDMA and 5-MeO DMT, which I do not recommend. And that led me into being in a state of fear and like tension and anxiety and crazy state of consciousness for 3 months. So what people could call the dark night of the soul, a Kundalini energy awakening, spiritual emergency, psycho-spiritual crisis. My theory is still that my health situation might be related to this, but as I was emerging out of this, in the beginning of 2024, basically, I was beginning to emerge out of that crisis and kind of find my ground again and ground myself and come back to a little bit more of an ordinary state of consciousness that is not completely filled with fear. I noticed I was getting sick. Even during the spiritual crisis, I had like tonsillitis 2 times, 3 times in a row. And it just kept on going. And then I had this heavy cough, like kind of like flu-like symptoms. And, as everybody, I thought this was going to go away. After a week, didn't go away. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, into the year, And I remember I was trying to work. I was trying to do boot camps. Like me and my roommate were doing boot camps at times. At the beginning of the year, we did one. And I could just read and work a little bit in like the background on the course that I'm creating, but I couldn't do much because I was so physically weak and in so much pain. And then people said like, yeah, it's gonna be just a couple of weeks. And then my doctor said, it's like, yeah, this is after 100 days the coughing might resolve itself. Maybe you're gonna wait for spring, wait for summer. And it just kept on coming back, or it just kept on being present, this state of sickness. So basically what made 2024 the hardest year of my life, and definitely the biggest challenge I have experienced so far in my life, is to be sick for a whole year. And it still hasn't resolved itself. Still can't breathe properly. I still get hit with a lot of different diseases. It's a mystery illness. Like no doctor knows, at least no doctor I have met knows what's going on. I don't really know what's going on. Maybe it's related to this spiritual crisis and to more like energetic reasons. But it's like it has been incredibly challenging. But it has also on another level deepened my my empathy for people who are going through challenging situations. It has deepened my understanding. It has humbled me greatly. It has it has deepened my spiritual practice, because through this suffering, through this pain, it seems like there's so much learning happening. Like some part of me, hey Yanis, hey Kuzan, hey Takami, the chat is full. There's a part of me that understands kind of like that when I come out of this experience, or even if I don't come out of this experience, this is gonna allow me to, I don't know, pass on something and use this in my work, in my coaching practice, in the transmissions and the flow that is coming through in these live streams and in these videos. As there is a deep blessing around pain and suffering and the freedom of that, and love and God and truth. What hit me earlier this year was a scripture of Meister Eckhart, who said, how can you be so arrogant and egotistical to think that you know better than God? To think that your suffering, your pain, your sickness, your disease, the death of your loved one is not meant to be. Because automatically, if it is happening, if it is true, if it is in reality, if it has happened, then it is approved by God, then it is God's will. And as we say in this typical Christian prayer, the Pater Noster, right? We say, may your will be done. Your will be done. Not my will. Who am I to say that I know better than God? To say that this sickness is not meant to be. Because clearly it's meant to be. Because clearly it is here. It is here. And then our response to these challenges and to the suffering and to the struggle and to the pain can just be a choosing of our perspective. We can choose to, lose all hope and faith and just crawl up into a ball of depression. Or we can keep our faith that this is meant to be. What can I learn from this experience? How is this experience making me grow? What kind of lesson, what kind of teaching can I take this? How can I use this experience to deepen my faith, to deepen my trust in life, in God, in God's will for my life? There was a beautiful quote I read it today. I was looking at pictures of Ananda Majima. She's one of the most amazing sages of recent times. When I start looking at pictures of her, I can't stop. She's so beautiful. I don't know if I can find this quote, but I might try. I don't know, it might take a couple minutes. For example, it's just one quote. Ananda Majima said, where God may place you at any time and under whatever circumstances, recollect that it is all for the best. Endeavor to go through life leaving your burdens in His hands. He is the preserver, He is the guide, He is all in all. Everything is in God's hands, and you are His tool to be used by Him as He pleases. Try to grasp the significance of all is His. and you will immediately feel free from all burdens. Stuff like that, you know, is very beautiful realizations, beautiful teachings, you know, to say, to surrender your self-importance, your arrogance, to think that you know better, you know. So take that into your reflection of 2024. To say, like, even though from my ego perspective, from a personal feeling kind of thing, I'm like, I wish things would have been different. But who am I to say this? Like, how can I even dare to put myself in a position to say, like, this shouldn't have happened, this shouldn't have happened, the little dog that was just 1 year old from my parents shouldn't have died, I shouldn't have gotten sick, I shouldn't have this and this and this and this, you know? Because everything is perfect as it is. That's the ultimate teaching that the psychedelics are showing me over again. So the integration of that is to actually see everything as meant to be, everything as perfect. And still we can try, you know, and move towards a better state of health, work through the grief, and do all that kind of human stuff that's necessary. And then, you know, I think it was also at the beginning of 2024, on top of this spiritual crisis and the state of sickness that was emerging, my girlfriend at the time, she ended the relationship. So this year has been a year of great grief. At first I didn't even realize how much it hurt me that this relationship ended, because it was a very, very beautiful relationship. And then over the month, even in my first ayahuasca journey in 2024, I realized how much this broke my heart, and how much, I kind of like opened my heart in that relationship, and how much the ending of that relationship is actually hurting. So lots of grief that was just like coming on top of this at the beginning of the year. So that was just crazy, you know. And I think the first, I don't remember completely, but the first significant experience that happened for me this year was, I think it was about in March. Well, first of all, I really continued on and even finished my coach training program with IPEC. Fantastic training. Like, I fell in love with coaching, like, ever more deeply. I started my coaching practice, which was a big step. There's a link in the video description if you want to talk to me one-on-one, talk about working together. Like, it's such an honor, it's such a blessing for me to be in the position of having completed a coach training program and actually being able and confident and willing to work with some of you guys. Absolutely amazing experience. But yeah, I finished it up. It started, and there were kind of like boot camps and trainings in the beginning of the year, but I finished it up like halfway through 2024. But thank you, bro. Glad to see you back in the live stream. I feel better, actually. Yeah, today I feel good, and yesterday as well. It's slowly, after every low, there's coming a little bit of a high, and after every high, there's coming a little bit of a low. So yeah, I remember I had my first meditation retreat at the beginning of the year. So it was a Vipassana retreat as taught by Goenka, I think. And yeah, I went there, I think around March, April, somewhere around that time. It was my first 10-day silent retreat. Well, it was not too silent because Goenka was talking at times and giving instructions on how to do the Vipassana technique. and I had great realizations. It was lots of pain in that experience. Like, I had never experienced so much pain while sitting. Like, literally in my legs. My legs were hurting so much. But overall, there was a deep lesson emerging out of that experience, because I realized I didn't resonate with the Vipassana technique as a meditation technique in and of itself. Hello, Kali NB, good to see you. But I first of all realized the value of meditation retreats. Like, if you haven't done one, go and do one. Go into the temple. Go do at least 7-day, 5 to 7 day, maybe 10-day, at least 10-day silent retreat. It's so incredibly valuable. Like, you can't believe it. I couldn't believe I haven't done it earlier. Like, I applied to be there for years and years on end, but I never made it a huge priority to actually go to one. Now I'm definitely going to do one each year, at least one. And you can even do your own little meditation retreats. You can go into the forest like Kuzan and Yanis are doing, and you can be in the forest for 1 to 3 days, just not doing anything, just being there, without your phone, without a notepad, without a book, nothing. Just be there, sit. And after the Vipassana retreat, I did a mushroom journey. I think that was kind of like my first bigger psychedelic experience in the year. And in this mushroom journey, the question was arising during the meditation retreat of like, what is meditation? What is meditation? And this question has really opened up. It threw me in for a loop. Like, my whole spiritual journey, my whole understanding of meditation, I threw it all out of the window and started from scratch with the inquiry into the question of what is meditation. Because this is actually where true meditation begins. It begins with you inquiring for yourself and asking yourself that question. What is meditation? You don't look for answers in a book, in a scripture, in a technique. Because the question that I was always asking myself is, how can I meditate most effectively? Which is a weird question in and of itself. So I was always looking for the most effective way to get enlightened, the fastest way to be liberated, the greatest teaching that resonates most with me. I would skip around to all these like traditions and chanting mantras and doing this technique and this technique and this technique, but like it wasn't getting me anywhere. So I basically, after this meditation retreat, said, okay, I'm not gonna listen to anything anymore, but ask myself the question, what is meditation for me? What does all of this like journeying, where am I like meditating towards? Like what is it? Is meditation even something you can do? Is there a technique for meditation? What is it? Or is it something that is blossoming out of you not doing anything? What does it even mean? This simple, funny phrase of not doing anything, doing nothing. Ooh, it's funny. And the mushrooms helped me in that inquiry. Local Fatty is saying, I have 3 mushroom trips planned for 2025. Lunar eclipse in March, summer solstice, and my birthday. Sounds great. It's great to plan ahead. Usually I don't plan ahead too much for my trips. But I do have just a handful. Also this year I just had a handful of deep experiences. I tried to have like a couple lower dose experiences thrown in there every once in a while. But the big ones I have just like a handful. And this is actually, one of the things that is most painful to me. out of this experience of being sick, because my approach to deep psychedelic space, there in my preparation there's kind of like an understanding, also a feeling deep inside, that I want to only engage in extreme psychedelic experiences while I am feeling good physically. Because psychedelic space, psychedelic space work is extreme work. It's like an extreme sport, it's taking something from your body. It requires a great deal of strength from your body, not just mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but also physically. Working through all that energy, all that tension, all the convulsions, everything, all the vomiting, everything that's happening. It requires great strength of your body. So what hurts me the most, especially this year, is that I couldn't really follow through on my greatest passion of deeply exploring psychedelic space. I had to take a step back and say, like, I can't go into deep psychedelic space that much this year. Sometimes very carefully I tapped into lower dose experiences, and I had some ayahuasca experiences, which I will come to, which were kind of like the highlights of my year. And very nice progression on my psychedelic journeying path of the medicine path. But overall, I'm very sad that I can't really do deep psychedelic work when I'm that sick. I mean, I could try, but usually I feel like there's a backlash happening. So yeah, Gabriel, thank you. Keep going. Yes, you got this. Thank you, brother. You got this as well. Gallian is saying, kind of scared of the body pain. I think I will hate not writing anything down. Local Fat is saying, to me, on a small level, I think of meditation as a cleanse. I think of it when my family would always say I'm sick, the virus will pass, and that's what I think about with my thoughts when I am in meditation. These thoughts will pass, and I just keep letting these thoughts pass, and then I realize, oh shit, I'm not thinking about anything anymore. Wonderful. Yeah, that's a beautiful description. For me, what meditation shifted into, and my whole spiritual kind of practice shifted into this year, and it was a big shift, is I let go of the desire to get anywhere. It's a funny desire that developed and that I cultivated over the last couple of years on my journey. The word journey in and of itself is really funny, but I said, like, okay, I have to get somewhere, and now as I was contemplating meditation, I was like, fuck it, like I let go of the desire to be enlightened, to get anywhere, this getting somewhere is like, we're already here. That's the whole point of meditation. Realize that this is it, this is it, right here, right now. So I shifted my focus from getting to any particular special state to letting all of that go, as you said, like letting it go, and appreciate. Appreciation is something that came up for me, of like, the highest thing I can do, basically, my greatest service to God and to reality, is to appreciate reality as much as I can. Sorry, I had to open the window. It's very warm in here. That's it. No more. Just like, also in the meditation, just like I simplified it down to concentration, like the breath awareness. And then appreciation, saying like, I appreciate this present moment experience of my life. May it be as ordinary or as filled with as many thoughts as it may, I appreciate it fully. And appreciation in the ultimate sense not meaning that I appreciate this, but I don't appreciate that. Like, I appreciate the silence in the meditation, but I don't appreciate my coughing or my sickness or the virus. No, I appreciate everything equally. Comes back to this first teaching, this that I received when I was starting to discover this field of like unconditional love. Unconditional love is basically a synonym for unconditional appreciation. It's coming back to this simplicity as well. The simplicity of the practice. Not looking for any like complicated. That's what I was realizing in the Vipassana retreat. I was like, this technique, even like bringing my awareness top to bottom, bodily sensations, tickly prickly, this that is like, this was too complicated. Wanted to simplify things for myself. Simplify it, simplify it, simplify it, simplify everything down to its core. And the core, for me at least right now, is infinite appreciation of every experience of consciousness. Every moment that I'm aware, I can just gently, even just in the background, while I'm in pain, while I'm even suffering, or while I am going through a challenging situation, there is a background love, a background appreciation that is happening. So this was a big shift for me, to let go of the destination and realize that the journey is the destination. Enjoy the journey as much as possible, as cliche as it sounds, but it's the simplicity of that truth, the simplicity of that realization that we're here to enjoy this experience that we're having. Like, what else is there to do? Not to enjoy it? Like, that's not fun. What the hell? Raspergus saying, wanted to do a mushroom trip this weekend, but I'm a bit sick. Sometimes when I'm just like a bit sick, and I still feel the strong call, and I feel that it's right to go into the journey, then I go into the journey, and usually it's fine. But be aware that it can, like, there's a potential to amplify that sickness. But also sometimes in psychedelic journeys, I realize that during the journey, actually my sickness or my symptoms get reduced. And I feel good, I feel healthy, I feel like energized, and then after the journey they come back. Hans Wurst is saying, can you let go of the psychedelics too? That is a very good question. I mean, for sure I can, it's like you can let go of everything. But my question would be, why would I want to? So, because it's just for me personally, I feel that the psychedelics are deeply related to my purpose, to my dharma, to my reason for being here on this earth, and of passing on knowledge in the community of psychedelic space. So, and there's a deep, infinite passion to explore the psychedelic space further and to do what we call psychedelic actualization, and to see if we can synthesize the path of self-actualization and of self-realization with the work of psychedelics. To say that the psychedelics are assisting our process of self-realization and self-actualization. So I personally just wouldn't want to let go of the psychedelics. But could I? Like, can you let go of psychedelics too? Sure, like, absolutely. I mean, why not? You can let go of anything. Well, relatively speaking. Maybe you can't let go of, I don't know, eating or something. But yeah, interesting question. Can you let go of the psychedelics too? Kalimbi is saying, I think the Buddhists illustrate the utmost, the biggest form of letting go in the most ultimate way, but it's too extreme for my liking. I feel like they are too serious and take it to an extreme way that actually kills everything human about them. I don't know. May only be my ignorant opinion. I feel like it's hard to generalize and to say the Buddhists, you know? I mean, it's useful in talking about it. But for me, in my introduction to Buddhism, it was Zen Buddhism. It's a particular branch of Buddhism. And they're not serious at all. Like, at times, maybe like some particular people are. But the Zen teaching is full of humor. It's full of not being serious. It's very funny, actually. And out of all these systems, and I feel like Buddhism is absolutely displaying a wonderful map for the experience of self-realization. For me, it feels like they're missing the God aspect. They're calling it emptiness, and they're calling it no self, and they're basically saying the same thing, but a little bit it feels like, at least some, like not all Buddhist teachers, but some are missing the love and the God, the divinity in it all. It's all very empty. But for some, at least, for others, not. You know, it's so it's hard to generalize. I don't want to generalize. But yeah, it's a very beautiful teaching. Hans Wurst is saying, yeah, but it will bind you and your mind to the material world. I recommend kava for a while. It grounds you, helps you to be content. Yeah, I'll try out the kava thing. But overall, the psychedelics, it's an interesting point that you bring up, if you mean that, you know, the psychedelics bring up the illusion or the idea, they plant the idea in your mind that it requires an external stimulus, an external something like a molecule to get you to a state of consciousness where you can, I don't know, be in bliss and realize love and go into the deeper layers of your unconscious. Which is ultimately not true. You can access that maybe right now, but also maybe not. You know? But it definitely creates the illusion that some things are only accessible with psychedelics. And almost every guru will tell you that I have to get rid of it at some point. Maharashi told Ramdas to be Jesus instead of visiting him. See, yeah, I know all of these stories. Absolutely. And that's why I'm here, basically. Because for me, at this current stage, especially back then when I started my journey, but also right now, I would like to test these hypotheses. Because I would like to be an example with my life. To say, maybe it's not necessary to let go of the psychedelics. Why would it be? And I know that many people and teachers and gurus say that ultimately, you have to be there yourself, you have to let go of the psychedelics, you can, just as Maharaji said, be with Jesus instead of visiting him. How realistic is it to be in the state of consciousness that Neem Kauri Baba was in this lifetime? For you, for me personally. Theoretically, it's possible to say, like, okay, I can just hang out with Jesus. But, like, am I doing it right now? Because you still depend on the external world. You're always depending on the external world for anything. Like you're breathing air. That is a dependence on the external world. Absolutely. You're depending on the molecules of oxygen to enter your nostrils. To be alive. So I feel like my journey is one where I want to test out if I can live my path from beginning to end with the psychedelics, because I feel like the path with the psychedelic, it's infinite. I don't think there is an end point. That's what the psychedelics are teaching me. It's like it's the teaching of infinity. There is no end point. And if there is no end point, if there's no end to all of this, then I can enjoy the journey with the psychedelics as much as I can enjoy the journey without the psychedelics. Then it's just a choice, a personal preference. So yeah, for me personally, at least in my current state of awareness, I would feel like I would like to go the path of my life with the psychedelics. Because why not? There's funny synonyms for psychedelics. They say it's like a teacher, it's like a tool, it's like a medicine, in the sense that healing is happening, healing meaning to make whole, basically. Ultimately, you don't need the medicine, you don't need the teacher, you don't need anything, for sure. But why not call in every once in a while with your teacher? There's always something to learn. If the journey is infinite, there's always a next lesson, there's always a deeper reflection. Why not go in? Why not call? Why not use them? Especially if you have like a taste for it. Some like twisted, crazy experiences, like the salvia experiences, or deep mushroom space. It's alien. It's weird. It has nothing to do with Jesus anymore. I don't know. And it's like you're on a different planet. And that's fascinating. It's fascinating just to recognize what consciousness can do. And there's an infinite exploration of that consciousness. And I would love to work with those plants to be in communication with that. Because I personally, for myself, can say at this state of my journey, maybe it will change in a couple decades. I'm not able to access that right now in my meditation. And it's a wonderful practice ground, I feel like. Psychedelics, seeing them as a practice, as a spiritual practice, as a practice ground for my understanding. to go into these journeys, and do not be afraid. Coming back to the appreciation, appreciate every experience. Can you appreciate the experience of being a chair or an orange on salvia? Can you experience insanity and appreciate and love that? Can you appreciate, this and that, and it's crazy. What could be happening in psychedelic space? For me, it feels like it goes far beyond meditation. It goes beyond like what the Buddhists are talking about. It includes all of this as well, these teachings and the stages of realization. But it's just so much more than that as well. So why not explore it? There's no dependence on it. It's also a practice of non-attachment. There's no dependence on the substance itself. Obviously, practice non-attachment. If you're attached to the plant or the substance to provide you with an experience that you desire, then you're trapped. But if you're already free, if you're liberated, if you're with Jesus, if you're in that space of realization, then why not play around? Why take it so seriously? Why not, smoke some mapacho and, take some acid and have fun, enjoy it. Yeah, you gotta do both. Absolutely. You gotta do the spiritual practice alongside the psychedelics. Don't depend on the psychedelics to provide you with anything, because then when you're sick like me and you can't, or like something is happening and you can't go into psychedelic space again, then you're damned. Other side is spot on. All attachments lead to suffering. So this is ultimate teaching. I'm like, detach. Detach from everything, for sure. What else are you guys saying in the chat? Well, lots of faces here. Anje, good to see you. Unique tool, magic truffles for the win. You can do what you want, but it will bind you to the world. I feel no. I disagree. I feel it helps my liberation from the world. And what does binding to the world even mean? I feel like our practice and the path is it goes in two ways. It goes up and down. It goes into the father and the mother. We detach and detach and detach further. We ascend and ascend further into the Father, into the Godhead, into the Absolute, into the Infinite, into the Formless. But then we descend. We're still, while we're embodied in this human body, my understanding is that there is a deep value, deep purpose for us to be fully embodied, to be fully human, to come into the world, to be in the world. As Jesus said, be in the world but not of it. Absolutely, we're meant to be here. We're not meant to escape all the time. We're not meant to escape this human life. Sure, this game of escaping samsara and breaking the illusion of Maya and committing Mahasamadhi and being united with God forever it's a fun idea. Sure. And we can strive for that liberation to happen. but we're here to enjoy this experience. That's what I feel like. We're here to appreciate this experience. It's funny, Hans Wurst, what you're saying. It's like it's speaking to a presentation I'm working on at the moment. It's called Psychedelics Are Not a Magic Pill. And the "not" is in braces. You know, psychedelics. I'll copy it. Psychedelics are not a magic pill. You know, we gotta embrace paradox to see the value of going up there and falling back down. How else are you gonna get to the moon? You know, just by your own meditation efforts? I doubt that I can do it myself. Like, I personally, for myself speaking, am not gonna be able to reach a 5-MeO DMT breakthrough state in my morning meditation. So every once in a while I would like to visit that state to remember what I'm working towards. To say like, I remember. And then to integrate that teaching into my life, into my perception, into my understanding of reality. There's nothing wrong with coming back down. It's a feature, not a bug, you know? It's a feature of the psychedelics that they're a temporary peak experience. Wonderful, you know? It's a temporary peak experience. And that's magical in and of itself. But obviously we're going to do the work of integration and having our practice and continuing to go on our path. Kaliambi is asking, can you answer truthfully? How are you doing? Why would I answer not truthfully? Right now, I'm doing good, I would say, yeah. I mean, that is a big question. You know, how are you doing? We can go at it from many different layers. Physically, I feel like I'm in pain and my nose is running and this and that, and financially and relationally and this and this and this. But right now, how I like to answer the question is just how I feel right now in this very moment. I can't speak for the moment 5 minutes ago or in 5 minutes, but right now I'm doing pretty good. Like, I feel energized and I feel present and I feel appreciative of all of you being here. So yeah, I feel good. Gabriel is saying, I agree. Are you doing okay? Eat some good as food. Take a bath. Smoke a relaxing plant. They really do care. Thank you. Yeah, I am doing okay. I am eating some good food. Well, this one, it was not the best I made, but it's pretty healthy. And I have some dates and raisins here. I have some food. I am gonna go to the sauna soon and smoking some relaxing herbs. I do every once in a while. I don't smoke too much, but every once in a while I like to have a little mapacho. Yeah, that's usually my smoke of choice. Hans Wurst, what makes you say that you don't think so anymore? I'm very curious. You can also book a call with me and we can have a chat around this. I'm curious. Like, what makes you think that way, that psychedelics are not a valid way? It's an interesting question. Kali is asking if you want to do psychedelics till the end of your life. Aren't you scared of any psychotic stuff? Yes, absolutely. I'm scared. Not scared. I wouldn't say scared. I'm aware of the risk. So, absolutely. There's a risk in working with these plants and substances. Well, the spiritual crisis, to answer your question from earlier, the tinnitus is still there, and it's very strong. Especially when I got sick, when I was in the hospital, and I was almost dying, and when my physical body is in a state of struggle, then there is a very loud sound in my ears. And that's a consequence from a psychedelic experience. Maybe even this year of sickness is a consequence from psychedelic experiences. Who knows? But my passion for the psychedelic path is so great. And there's a deep inner knowing in my heart that I'm meant to go this path. Who knows with which substance and how it's gonna end up? I don't know. But this tapping into the unknown is where the fun is, right? It's like, I don't know where I'm gonna end up. And the risk of losing your sanity, it's as Terence McKenna would say, it's an occupational hazard, Absolutely. There's not a reason to be scared. See, you're saying because tons of people tried and failed, but why would I neglect my true, authentic feeling and my passion because other people have failed? Why would I not try? I don't see a reason for myself personally, I can't speak for you. But for me personally, I don't see a reason why I wouldn't try. Because it's my path, I'm reading this book at the moment. It speaks to this. It's called The Art of Insubordination, How to Dissent and Defy Effectively. Because all great change has come from this very unpopular idea. Someone who said, no, even though many have tried and failed, I'm going to go this path and I'll see what happens. And this is what happened this year as well, I was doing some explorations. And the most significant experiences of my year of 2024 have been some ayahuasca journeys I have done with Manesh. And they really touched me to the core of my being. Reminded me of the healing power of this medicine, of my passion for this path, of my love for this path, of my calling to explore this space further. Because for me, it feels like I'm just at the very, very, very beginning of my psychedelic journeying. So much more to come. I'm at the very beginning. I haven't even really started yet. That's where I see myself on my journey of exploring. And these ayahuasca retreats this year, they have been some of the most transformative and I wouldn't say life-changing, but definitely very transformative. They gave me trust in the path. They gave me a deepened embodiment of that understanding of appreciation and unconditional love. You know, it's this experience of unconditional love in the ayahuasca space that allowed me to remember that I can unconditionally love my sickness. Because I felt how it would feel like to unconditionally love this state of sickness during the ayahuasca journey. So I can take that experience and integrate it into my being. And say, now I do. At least, maybe not infinitely, unconditionally, but a little bit more than before. Appreciate God's will. And appreciate the state of my body that it is in, with the sickness. One ayahuasca experience this year, it was the second one, towards July or August. I had a peak experience merging with what felt like for me personally the energy of Shiva, the energy of Kali. And it was a peak experience that deeply touched me. Because it's not a guarantee for me. Like, when I go into journeys, most of the times, especially the past couple of years, you know, there's no blissful union with God. That's just very rarely that's happening. But this, when it happens, it's a moment of grace. Like, it's not in my control. I can't force this peak experience of merging with God. I can't force it. I can't say, like, I can't predict it. I can't say, like, this ayahuasca experience, this 5-MeO DMT experience, this whatever experience is gonna allow me to meet God and experience this union and this infinite peace and bliss and love. But it's a moment of grace. You know, it's the grace of God opening up. It's only in His control. It's what Sikhism is talking about, you know? The Siri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Wonderful spiritual scripture. It's saying all the time. Like, it's saying all the time that, for example, O dear Lord, you are the truest of the true. All things are in your power. So, it is in God's power. It is in the divine's will to be able to, it's in His hands to choose who and when there's going to be this opening. There's going to be this satori, this taste of samadhi. Now, I can't choose it. I can't force it. There's no way to force it. Gabriel is saying, every time I look for God, I find myself. It's the same thing, yeah. As Rumi said, reminds me of this Rumi quote. Or also of this quote, there's a quote by Ananda Majima again that I read today. It says, who am I? You know, this famous question from all spiritual traditions, basically, especially Ramana Maharashi was saying, who am I? And Ananda Maji said this realization of that question, who am I, is the purpose of human life. To know himself, it is man's bounden duty as a human being to find God. Self-realization is God-realization. And God-realization is self-realization. Absolutely. We only find ourselves. When we look for ourselves, we only find God. And this happened in this ayahuasca experience, you know, and it's a very precious moment. I hold it very dearly in my heart. This moment of grace, this moment of union with the divine, this taste of peace, and this infinite peace. It's a moment of perfection as well, you know, feeling whole. Because usually when we're suffering, you know, when we're in our ordinary state of consciousness on our day-to-day basis, the root of that suffering is a perception of separation. We think we're separate. So to remember that union, to remember that we're not separate, but we're actually connected. That's where the healing is happening. And it's a beautiful remembrance to remember over and over again. You can do that through your meditation. You can do that through reading scriptures. You can do that through psychedelics. Or you can do it through doing all of this at the same time. You know, that's what I choose to do. Is to do the practice, to sit in meditation, to read the scriptures, to learn from the sages, to do all of this, and to go into psychedelic space. Why not do all of it? Because all of it is beautiful. All of it is fun. You know, a lot of the videos that I'm publishing at the moment, they are inspired by this ayahuasca retreat. That you don't have to be afraid of difficult emotions. You can take up courage, that asking questions is powerful, that I love the coaching, that I want to do, that I want to make my morning hour sacred, that the psychedelic experience is a practice of detachment. It's been a big one as well, you know. To be free means also not to attach to the state of union with the divine. Not to depend or be attached to or desire a state of bliss, a state of God realization. Because that desire, that wish for things to be different than they are, that neglection of your ordinary mind, that is leading to suffering as well. Because that is an attachment to the psychedelic high. So the practice is not to attach to the psychedelic high. To take it on, appreciate it fully, because it's there. Why not do it? You know. Lincoln is saying, 2.5 years ago, I was a bodybuilder chasing image and vanity. 4 hours later, after a strong mushroom trip, I threw away $400 worth of steroids and never went back to that lie. An instant flip switch. Good. So beautiful to read that. Thank you for sharing. Very beautiful. Kali is saying, did the tinnitus come from your spiritual crisis? You talked about it in your video. You can check out the videos. It's on the playlists, and then there's a whole playlist called My Spiritual Emergency. I don't talk about the tinnitus that much. It only emerged towards the end of the spiritual emergency. It emerged with my first tonsillitis experience after the spiritual emergency, or during that spiritual emergency. So it could have literally other causes. I don't know. My honest answer is I don't know. We don't even know what tinnitus is, you know. It's funny. Like, I looked a little bit into the research. I talked to some doctors. It's ridiculous. Nobody knows what tinnitus is, where it's coming from. At least if it doesn't have a physical cause, if it's not related to your ears, which it isn't for me, then it's literally a mystery. You know, we have no clue. It could be the divine sound of the Om of the universe, and there is a whole branch called, I think it's called Nada Yoga, which is the yoga of sound. There is many teachings and knowledge in Buddhist traditions and Hindu traditions about hearing loud sounds. So it could be that it's related to some kind of like spiritual state. It could be that it just like that the body is very much overheating. That's what a Chinese medicine doctor told me. That my body is overheating, with this energy. I was so charged up from the 5-MeO DMT that literally the air is coming out of my ears, and it's like this pot with boiling hot water, and it's like coming out of the ears. That was his picture, which I don't really believe anymore. But honest answer, I have no clue where the tinnitus is coming from and where it's going, if it's going away anytime or not. I have come to appreciate it. It's there. It's just what it is, there's no resistance against it. It's just part of my perception, my reality now. Hans is saying, I think in Sikhism, psychedelics are also forbidden, like in most other major religions. Yes, in most major religions and in Sikhism. Well, whatever. They never really mention the psychedelics, They can't. They're saying intoxication, intoxication. But the religions, they like to talk in metaphors, so whatever they meant with intoxication. And then we have stories of the Rig Veda, where we have entire books like written to the holy Soma, ancient texts. We have, even in Sikhism, they call it this nectar, this divine nectar, Even that could be, there's theories that might be an actual substance, the divine nectar that the Sikhism is talking about. We have the theory that Moses was, and the people in the Bible, they were talking about psychedelics by actually being in the desert and having this like orgot-like mushroom in their bread, which they could, see God through, or like, we have all these stories, that indicate that ancient religions have used psychedelics. We have many traditional art and sculptures and paintings where we can recognize mushrooms, from ancient Egypt to all kinds of religions. So it is interpreted in that way, that many major raisins are good. Many major religions speak themselves out against psychedelics, but even then, even if it's true that all the that all the religions are saying don't take psychedelics, my honest response to that is, I do not care. Like, I do not care one single bit. Might be controversial. I don't care what any religious teacher, leader, book is saying. I take it into consideration. I love to study it. I love to understand it. I love to take on anything that feels good. But I am the only authority in my life, in my perception. So Buddha and Jesus and whoever else, Ram Dass and Guru Nanak from Sikhism, what else? And Shiva himself can say, don't take psychedelics. And I would still do it. Because who are they to say what I can or cannot do, or what's helpful for my path? So that's my point of view. That I don't care what any religion has to say about my use of psychedelics, because my use of psychedelics is my responsibility. my choice. And obviously I'm free to explore that path. And sure, they could be all like seen as warnings. Like, don't do it. It's just gonna lead you down a dark path, and you're gonna end up insane and sick. So be it. You know, I take responsibility for that. If that's the case, then that's the case. Then I am another wonderful prime example for humanity to say, don't go down that path. But I will try. Because why not? Because it's the most fun that I can have for myself in this experience of life. So, yeah, that's my response to that. I love the discussion that's going on in the chat. I love you all, guys. Gabriel is saying, yeah, but we are sick and we need medicine. Hans is saying, who says you're sick? Gabriel is saying, me, my liver doesn't let me sleep. But I got that from the Adderall that made me turn to meth and heroin. Psychedelics are my last hope and it's working. Well, literally, ayahuasca is a very beautiful physical medicine. But also, Gabriel can recommend to look at your diet. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of cleansing. I'm doing a cleansing protocol. It's called Medical Medium. I don't really like the philosophy of this guy, but you can look it up, the Medical Medium cleanse. It's very effective for healing your liver and for cleansing your liver and let go of all that shit that you have taken on and that your liver has to live with. It's very freeing. I'm gonna go into another 9-day cleanse very soon. And Hans, your question is very interesting as well. Who says you're sick? You know, it's what I'm gonna go into a presentation. I was preparing a presentation about what are psychedelics, and I was coming to the term medicine. You know, psychedelics as medicine. And in one way, we can say that we have plant medicine. Psychedelics are medicine, especially in the sense when we say healing means to make whole again, to reconnect us to that wholeness. That medicine means to bring into order that which was in chaos, is one definition of medicine. So that's wonderful to have that perception, but a perception that we need a medicine is implying that we are sick, right? But on another level, it feels like, to me at least, in my understanding, in the absolute level, you know, on the relative level, we may be sick physically, mentally, we might work through some trauma and shadow stuff, but on the absolute level, we are always already whole. There's nothing we can do. We're always already connected to the divine. There's nothing we can do to separate that. As Alan Watts said, the ego is an illusion. You can't get rid of your ego because it doesn't exist. It's this funny illusion, you know, and so in truth, there's no medicine. There's no need for medicine because we are inherently whole. We are inherently healthy. We're not sick on the absolute sense. So there's no need for medicine, actually. There's no need for healing because healing can't happen. I think one definition I came up with a year ago probably is that healing, I don't remember it exactly. It was something along the lines of that healing is the remembrance of the recognition that we're always already whole, right? That's what healing is. And that's what psychedelics assist us to do. At least for me, it's this remembrance of the inherent wholeness and health and perfection of my being, of consciousness itself. Kali's saying, did you quit going to the gym altogether? I'm asking to Lincoln, and Lincoln saying, I did. I work out at home with band, stretches and yoga. You know, I miss working out. That's been one of the tough times this year for me as well. I started going to the gym last year or the year before that. And now this year I couldn't go. Like my gym membership is going and running every month. So I can't go to the gym, like literally, because I have to balance out and feel when I really need rest. And then I'm traveling half of the year. And then I would love to go to the gym. I love to go to the gym. And I can't. Like I literally can't. The past couple of months I haven't been able to go to the gym because my physical state is really actually just not allowing me to go. Lincoln is saying mushrooms are seen in Egyptian hieroglyphs. Yes, absolutely. That's at least that's what we think, and it's very like it's apparent. Yeah. Kalian saying, would you like to be taken as a spiritual teacher, guru, master of religion with your philosophy on psychedelics? Would you like to be taken as a spiritual teacher, guru, master of a religion with your philosophy on psychedelics? No, please. I do not. I don't like definitions. I would like to see myself as a nobody. You know, I'm nobody, nothing. No teacher, no guru, no master. There is just human interaction happening right here. There's value in these categories and in these terms of teacher, guru, master, or even religion. I don't know, but I feel like it's not really necessary. I don't like to define myself as anything. You know. Wow, so many comments coming in. Like, thank you all for being here. Christina Bush, can I ask how old you are? Yes, you can ask. Am I gonna answer? Maybe not. What do you think? Mad Goose, hello. It's like, don't think of the mushroom. Okay, now I'm thinking of the mushroom. Yeah. Lincoln is saying, my point of view is that my inexperience with psilocybin has had real life positive effects. I don't regret my journey at all. The stigma is skewed amongst those who have never experienced it. Yeah, the stigma is changing slowly, fortunately, you know. At least in my bubble of people I hang out with in like psychedelic conferences and festivals. Slowly there's a cultural shift happening, and still sometimes I talk to people and I realize and recognize, oh yeah, there's people who still think that all of this is just horrible and bad and whatever. But I'm glad you don't regret your journey. I don't regret any of my experiences. Regret is an interesting term, you know. Why would you regret anything? What is regret giving you? Like, what is it giving you? Like, why would you regret anything? I feel like regret is almost like it's a choice. And regret means almost like a lack of responsibility. Because if you take 100% responsibility, which is one of my core principles of the Psychonauts Path to Purpose program, of my coaching practice, of my life, you know, how I live is 100% responsibility. To say I am fully responsible for everything in my life. Even the things that seem outside of my control. I am responsible for my sickness. I'm responsible for my suffering. I'm responsible for the situation that I find myself in, for the lack of money, for everything, you know? Because if I do take responsibility for all of this, for all of it, there cannot be any place for regret. The only thing that the choice of regretting something is adding to your life is pain, you know, more suffering. It doesn't feel good, at least for me. And there is a freedom, I find, in my weird reality. There is a freedom to choose a perspective that doesn't include regret. even though you feel something, you can define it as regret, but you can also choose a perspective on the situation in the past, on the situation right now. You can create your reality, literally. You can choose a perspective that feels aligned and that doesn't include regret. We're so powerful. Like, we have the power to literally erase regret from our life. There was just like a little thought when I read that word. My goose is saying, we are it, being it, whilst eating. The perception and the perceiver are the same thing. Oh, yes. Mad Goose, thank you for adding that to the conversation. Yes, absolutely. Kelly's saying, I don't mean you define yourself as one, but for example, after you die, people make you a master of religion for your point of view of psychedelics. Would you like that, want that? I don't like or want anything. What's ever gonna happen is gonna happen. Like, humans are gonna do what they're gonna do. But, yeah, we can see what's emerging out of this. Literally, I feel like most of the sages and the religious leaders are saying, like, go your own path, find your truth, go realize and meet God. And then people are saying, oh, you are my savior. It's like, no, it's not about me. It's not about me. And then it's, oh, it's about him. It's about her. So no, I don't want or like to do anything. I don't know. Can't answer that question. Lincoln is saying, John Hopkins is producing real clinical data that is showing psilocybin to be very powerful in treating PTSD. Yes, absolutely. Pharmaceutical companies will always be an adversary to Mother Nature's wonderful offerings. And now they're in the process of trying to medicalize, psilocybin. So it's going to be an interesting development if there's going to be legalization of psilocybin and of 5-MeO-DMT. I've literally seen 5-MeO-DMT nasal spray, which is, I don't know, they're trying to make some profit off of it. I haven't fully understood what they're doing. But the pharmaceutical companies and the investors are getting interested in making money with psychedelics as well. So this is going to be an interesting movement happening to keep the psychedelic space free while we're moving into legalization. But absolutely, there is such a thing as too much psychedelics. I would absolutely say so as well. And that's why I'm also called to do this channel. It's really looking at the responsible, mature use of psychedelics. What does that mean to you, to me, to all of us? What does a responsible and mature communion with psychedelics look like? So I have also known people who are, I don't know, they're drinking ayahuasca and going to an amusement park. Literally. Like, I don't know if that's respectful use of that plant. Who knows? Who am I to judge? I don't want to judge that. But I am finding my own definitions and my own way on presenting what it might look like to have a responsible, mature use of psychedelics, including the work of preparation, including the work of integration. not to fall into the trap of wanting to escape this state of consciousness, and go into another one. Kali's saying, what do you guys think of lingering, haunting thoughts of things that one has done, like something so fucked up, and not feeling like one has a chance in being a good person anymore? My thoughts of that are that God has already forgiven you. So it feels like, to me at least now, your only job is to forgive yourself. Ask yourself that question: what does forgiveness mean? What is true forgiveness? How can I forgive myself? What does it truly mean to forgive yourself? I can say that it's possible, and that this forgiveness that has already happened, Christians say Jesus died on the cross for that, for your sins. All the great mystics and sages have that unconditional love that says it's already forgiven, no matter what it was. So yeah, you can forgive yourself and then recontextualize, redefine yourself as a good person, basically. If you realize your true nature, your inherent, there is a, at least for me speaking, there is an inherent goodness. There's a goodness that goes beyond the relative domain of actions in the human realm, of what you have done, of all the sins, of all the bad stuff, all the lies, all the deception. Not taking this forgiveness as an excuse to do more bad stuff, but in the honest inquiry of forgiveness and the process of forgiving yourself, there's a possibility to free yourself from that suffering and then shift your perspective to one where you see yourself as having a chance to be a good person. Because I do believe and feel that you are a good person. That's my personal opinion. Hans Wurst is saying, Virgo, do you think the scriptures like Quran and Bhagavad Gita are from God? I don't know. I have no idea. It's an interesting question again, because I would say, in my understanding, everything is God. So everything is from God. Everything is God. The Rig Veda, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran is as much from God, or is as much God as, what kind of funny book do I have here? Sing Your Heart. I don't know. the ukulele songs. Or my journal. Like literally that is from God. Your journal, it's from God. The cartoon, the introduction into the teachings of Lucifer, that is from God. It's coming from the same source. But then there's nuances, obviously, in your question as well, and in the answer as well, that we might choose to say, and I don't know, this is where relative judgment is coming in, that this one book, Yeah? It's more valuable and it's more divine than the other book. You know, Zen is beautifully displaying this. It says if you read the Bible or if you read, I don't know, kind of like, what is a funny example of a, or if you read, what's a funny kid's story? I don't know, The Little King or something. You know, it's the same. It's the same. But at the same time, it feels like, for me personally as well, as it might feel for you, that certain texts and scriptures like the Tao Te Ching, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, there's more truth. There's more, more truth in there, in these words of wisdom. More truth, more connection to what we might call the divine or God than in other books. So it's an interesting question, you know. So every evil comes from God too. Yeah, in that perspective, in that ultimate perspective, evil doesn't exist. The question of evil is a very interesting one. It's because evil can only exist in duality. You know, if it can only exist in the yin and yang, you know, the light and the dark. But if we transcend duality, then there can't be two things anymore, you know? If there's only one, there's no place for two. It's like, and goodness and like good and evil are two. Light and dark, that's two. That's the relative domain, which is an inevitable truth of our reality. That's where we find ourselves in. Like we are you and I, you know, that's two. we live in this realm of duality. There's a beautiful recognition and an importance to acknowledging that as well. But in the absolute sense, there's only one. And that one, it doesn't... I like to attribute it the quality of infinite goodness. That means there's no evil anymore. You could also say it's infinite evil, but that doesn't feel true to me. You know, in my personal experience and based on my psychedelic insights, when I transcend duality and I merge the two into one, the separateness is gone, the ignorance is gone, basically, then there is only goodness. Like it's all that's left is love with a capital L. And from this one, you know, from this infinite goodness, it breaks this one, which is included in the two. The two are one, ultimately. The one is this formless thing that is in the two itself. It's all around, it's inside, it's everywhere. And still there is, that's why they call it an illusion, you know, it's Maya. It's the play, Lila. But the two, the duality, from this one infinite goodness is coming the relative domain of good and evil, good and bad. And then there is a reality to evil, for sure, in that domain that we're living in. I'm not denying the presence of not so benevolent spirits. There might be very dark stuff. It's black magic happening. Gabriel saying, oh fuck, I gotta get ready to sell my labor. Have a good day, all. Thank you, Gabriel, for being here. I really do truly appreciate it, and I love you. Thanks for showing by. Lincoln is saying, I really enjoy your spirit, my friend. I subscribed. I'll be back. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll try to be here every weekend, maybe Saturdays, maybe Sundays, and drop into the live streams every once in a while. But yeah, really enjoyed you being here as well. Thank you, my friend. Hansworth is saying, okay, when you want to split hairs, do you think it's from God as incarnated human or God as outside of material world? I don't understand your question. I am sorry. What do you mean by God as incarnated human or God as outside of material world? That's two, again, it's two gods that you're describing. In my understanding, there's only one. And that one, it's shining through in the mystics and the sages. That one ultimate truth, I do truly believe that it's, that's why the mystics are so inspiring. That's why there is guru worship. That's why there's devotees to gurus. Because they're not devoting themselves to that human being. They see the one, they see the formless through that being. The formless is shining through that human. That human is only an empty vessel, a mirror. There's no one left there anymore. No? It's just this unconditionally loving awareness shining out. So basically the sages, they left. They emptied out. They're not human anymore. They left their humanness behind. They died. And then they still walk around. At least that's how I imagine the mystics to be. I can't really feel into that. And then they might like spit out some words and people write this down, and then boom, we have scriptures. Or they might be poetically inclined and write stuff down for themselves. But anyway, there could be always a potential for deception, ignorance, a trace of humanness and evil and whatever being left. Who knows? But see, when I read some stuff from some people like Ananda Majima, like Neem Kauri Baba, I really feel this resonance. There is like my whole system, my whole being is saying like, yes, this is true. And ultimately it's about truth. But that pursuit of truth, that path of liberation, nobody else can walk it for you. You're gonna discern for yourself. It's in your hands. Your journey is in your hands. You're gonna understand evil and goodness, duality and oneness for yourself. Like, no teacher, no guru, no master, not me, nobody can tell you. Like, people try to transmit understanding, but the way I'm doing it with words, it's one of the least effective ways. Some like mystics, they do it through being, through Shaktipat. They transmit state of consciousness through their being in real life. And then some others do and go the intellectual way. They do the, what's that path of yoga called? Whatever. It's like, and they talk and try to reach that state of being by talking and by understanding. Matt Goose is asking, do you ever feel like, why on earth is the whole universe choosing to look through these eyes at this moment, in all moments, the ongoing moment? Yes. Yes, bro. I absolutely feel like that at times. I can tap into it right now. Why on earth is the whole universe choosing to look through these eyes at this moment, in all moments? I love that. This question alone can bring you to an awakening. It's a good question, Matt Goose. Absolutely. It's a funny one. I ask myself that question frequently. I'm like, it's tapping into this and speaking to this transcendence of duality, tapping into the nature of the one. We get into very interesting territory with solipsism. And we say, like, literally all there is what these eyes perceive right now. It's a very radical perspective. But in my experience, it's true. I can't neglect that Madagascar exists, because I have been there like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But right now, in this perception, like literally this is all that is. Like, what the heck? From this perspective right here, like, I don't know if Madagascar exists. So I'm not seeing it. Well, like, labels and names of countries are illusionary either way, but it's like, you don't exist because I don't see you. Also bad example. But it's like, the sun doesn't exist because I can't see it right now. Everything that is true is what I perceive through these eyes at the moment. I can't verify what you see. So it doesn't exist for me. It does not exist. What you perceive through your eyes does not exist for me. It's funky, when you think about this. It's so trippy. It makes you go a little bit like when you say, like, literally any other perspective doesn't exist, even though there is a hinge that, okay, there might be other people, it's a rough illusion. It's a very hard one to break through. But why on earth is the universe choosing to just perceive this through my eyes right now? And then in psychedelic experience, with the salvia, you can break out of this and literally look at the world through being an orange. Well, yeah. As was saying, so Wi-Fi doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Like, what is it? It's a nuanced conversation. We can say my brain doesn't exist right now. My brain, I can't see my brain. Obviously there is a brain. Obviously there's Wi-Fi. But it goes deeper than this, you know. It's a very... I can't really explain it, you know. It's very, very interesting realizations to see. When you really get present, this perception of yours is all that exists. It's just that. The idea that there's a brain in my mind, in this skull thing, like it's an idea at this very moment. It's an idea. It's a construct of my mind. Wi-Fi is a construct of my mind. I'm not saying that Wi-Fi doesn't exist and there's not electromagnetical waves flowing through the like space and time, or that there's literally no brain in my head, but it's, if you drop down there, what's true is only this. Only what you're seeing. So now, if I close my eyes, literally, the world doesn't exist. It does not exist in this moment. So all that is true is just this. You know, it's just this. But it's a conversation for another day, man. It's I'm trying to wrap my mind around this and come to a deeper understanding of this myself. Where were we in the chat? Nancy Zipper, good to see you here. Does your next breath of air exist, or do you believe that next breath is there? Take a breath and tell me that's not there. It's only this. There's no next breath, you know. It's there's only this out breath, this in breath, this out breath, this in breath. That is there. The question is, does your next breath of air exist? No, it does not exist. It's like tomorrow never comes. The next breath is never arriving. We can get messy with the language, but it's what I'm trying to point you to is this truth of the present moment. That, as we have heard so many times, and we'll hear it again and again, that this is all there is. Now is all there is. You know? This present moment is all there is. And when you become really, 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 really present, you know, there's only this breath. There's only this perception. If you quiet down the mind so much that it stops constructing all these ideas, you know, all this imagination, all this like the construct of that there's a tomorrow, that there's time, it's like we can construct these wonderful things, but when we get really present, the truth that I am experiencing is that there's only this, what's present in this very moment. It's never a next breath. This tomorrow never comes. It's always today. I never wake up tomorrow. I'm like, wake up, I'm like, it's tomorrow. No, it's today. It's today. Next hour is never coming. It's always now. I'm always here now. I can't be in the next hour. I can't be in the last one. Impossible. As much as I try. I can try to picture myself, to visualize that thing, you know, that vision. There's a great value in visualization, and there's great value in imagining to remember a past. Absolutely, it's super useful for our human life and for society and culture, and it's fascinating. But it's an illusion. Because all there is this right here. Hans Wurst is saying, and I ask you if you think if there is guidance from the Godhead outside of the material world, not enlightened beings. Sure, 'cause you are it. Everything is always perfectly guided from the Godhead. You can only realize that. You can only always realize that everything is in His hands. Everything is in its hands. Everything is guided already. Basically, we're just watching this unfold. Like, we can sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. This is it. This is our job. Magus is saying, Bucky Fuller said, I know that I am not a category, I am not a thing unknown, I seem to be a verb, an evolutionary process, an integral function of the universe. You're just an eddy in the great river of souls, ebbing and flowing. Yeah. I like that quote. Thank you for sharing. And we are just like a wave in the ocean. What was that thing I read recently? I think it was something along those lines of Rumi as well. Can't grab it fully, but it's not just that we are a drop in the ocean, but we're the entire ocean in a drop, you know. Nancy's saying, I'm always telling my people, hey, I'm really here, with direct eye contact. I love direct eye contact. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful practice. Psychedelic space is showing me that over and over again, of like the value of really directly having eye contact. It's something so like intimate, and it's so wonderful to do it with every human being you meet. There's a deep rawness, intimacy, you know, there's a reflection happening. I love to do eye gazing as well. I'm finding people who are willing, you know, just like sit in silence and just look into each other's eyes. It doesn't even have to be a lover or friend. Just like do this with people. Look into their eyes. It's one of the most powerful spiritual practices. And then all of a sudden, after a couple of minutes, half an hour maybe, like things get twisted and turning, people get visuals and faces change, and it's like, but the eyes, they always stay the same. They're always present. They're always clear, you know, they're always this clear reflection. It's a wonderful, wonderful practice. Hans Wurst is saying, you don't understand it. No, I don't understand you. I am sorry. You can try to explain yourself in a different way, and then I can try if I can understand. Otherwise, I'm very sorry that I don't understand you. Dream, hello. You're saying and asking, so what is the purpose of those that suffer unfathomably? Yeah, my honest answer to that is I don't know. In my current state of being, I don't know. You know, in my human mind, my human perception, I can't understand. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why I have this sickness for 1 year, and then I can't even imagine the suffering of people. You know, war, people dying, hunger, you know, people not having food, unimaginably suffering. Physical survival. You know, I was in Madagascar recently. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. I think the 4th poorest country in the world. It's a shocking reality. People are suffering. People are grasping. They don't even know what freedom is. They're just... some people... I saw people like kids in rock mines. They're just like hitting rocks all day. Every day, 12 hours a day, hitting rocks. Kids, 3-4-year-old kids. And then they have a pack of rocks at the end of the day. And when they're lucky, they can sell it. And they get 2 cents for this. 2 pennies. Not even, maybe. It's unimaginable. Actually, those people are happy, some of them. I've seen them happy. But some, you know, yeah, the wars that are going on, the racism, the injustice, everything. It's unimaginable suffering. What is the purpose of that suffering? As a human, as Virgo, you know, I say, I don't know. But what I, on a deeper level, sense, and I know it's hard to say this, you know, it's very hard to say this, but that God knows. And God's ways, the ways of the divine, are unfathomable. You know, it's beyond our comprehension of human understanding. The ways of God. But I feel that there is that I trust this intelligence. I would say that I would equal God, you know, or the Godhead and this life force that is giving life to everything. Like the energy behind reality, reality itself. It's another synonym for me is intelligence. It's infinitely intelligence. There is a degree of intelligence that is so far beyond our comprehension of what intelligence even means. that, as the sages say, ultimately it is all for the best. You know? It is all for the best. It's hard to say this, you know, it's hard to recognize it, but in my personal experiences with the psychedelics, I can tap into this, and there is an understanding arising. There's a possibility for an understanding to arise that everything is meant to be. Everything is meant to be as it is. With all the suffering, with all the disease, with all the sickness. That's God's will, because it is the case, and we might not understand how that can be for the best of everybody. How can that be for the best of everything? But ultimately it is. You know, ultimately it is for the best. I truly believe that. That all the suffering, all the wars, all the sickness, all the death, all the pain, all the disease, all the hunger is for the best. It's meant to be. Why? Why? What's the purpose? I don't know. That's beyond my capacity to grasp or understand. Reem is saying, yes, a lot of them are happier than many in the West. Yeah, I recognize. Now that I'm back in the West, back in Germany, people are not greeting each other. People are like, yeah, it's interesting. Interesting observation. Mad Goose is saying, we're just the little fruiting bodies of the great mycelium godheads. Heard he's a pretty fungi. Dream is saying, I do believe that, but I have been stuck at that, not able to progress for a while. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Yeah, you're welcome. It's hard to perceive that, you know? It's hard to remember that. Especially when you're in the midst of it. And our mind likes to be caught up in things all the time. And especially when it hurts us personally. We're like, but my body, you know, my arm got cuts off. I'm like, it's my arm. How dare you, God? How can that be for the best? Hans Wurst is saying, how you are the Godhead. I don't understand that question. Now there is a different God. No, I don't think so. So that God you speak of sent the scriptures. I don't know what you're saying, man. I'm sorry. I'm speaking of one God. Well, I would say, if there's any more questions, throw them at me. Otherwise, I'll have to pee soon. That was a crazy live stream. I wasn't expecting so much engagement in the chat. Thank you all for being here. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all for participating and asking so many questions and adding so many comments. I truly enjoyed this. I think now the title is misleading of this video, 2024 destroyed me completely. Well, it's okay. But I said I'm gonna reflect on this year. Maybe we're gonna do a live stream at New Year's Eve, 31st of December, and where I'm gonna be more focused on doing the review exercises and a little workshop of reviewing 2024. I got in a little bit into this at the beginning, but there's more, there's more beautiful questions and exercises we can do together to reflect on 2024, and also exercises we can do together to create a vision and set proper authentic goals for ourselves for 2025. Yeah, we might do that in a couple days. So yeah, I'll wrap it up slowly. Hanswurst, what are you saying? You're saying you say everything is God, and the next moment you can't understand that God. Yes, but it's a paradox. A lot of this work is embracing paradox. It's all paradox. And also, even though there is just this one God, somehow the union with that, the merging with that, the realization of the one, infinite intelligence, it's a very beautiful design. It doesn't give you omniscience as a human. Some mystics and sages have been having the ability, to look into the future, to predict what might happen with this person, or even to shift their physical body, appear at two places at the same time, like crazy stuff, miracles, absolutely bonkers. I'm not at this stage yet, so I can only speak from my understanding, from my glimpses of tapping into this infinite intelligence, into this oneness, that this is true. There is a deep understanding rising, but it's not a detailed omniscience on the relative level, Sure, everything is God, and yes, I can't understand his ways. Like, it's both. As a human, you'll have to be careful on what, and I have to be careful on what level I am talking at. We gotta clearly draw a distinction between the absolute and the relative. Because if I'm speaking from the relative perspective of the personality, of the ego, of the human Virgo, I can't possibly understand the ways of God. If I am in a state of consciousness of merging with the one, and transcending this humanity, then there is an experience of an understanding arising, where I do feel like I understand on a certain level why everything is the way it is. So, and now my integration, is to remember that experience, this direct experience of the understanding. As was saying, yes. And my question was, if the scriptures come from the power of God that you don't understand. I don't know where the scriptures are coming from. Like, I have no idea. I don't know. I do not know where the scriptures are coming from. So what are even scriptures, you know? And yeah, as I said, sometimes there is a deep resonance with words that I'm reading. A deep resonance of saying, okay, this feels true to me. It feels connected to that place, you know, to that truth of everything, to that place of unconditional love. So then I take that on. And then maybe a different part of the same scripture, I'm like, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't resonate. I don't understand, that doesn't feel true to me. So I neglect that. So yeah, it's an interesting question. And then in some scriptures, you know, some texts, there's more resonance, and in some there's less resonance for me personally. But where it's coming from, I have no clue. Like, probably a human being wrote these words at one point or another. If that human being was connected to that place of the divine while he was writing or she was writing it, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. You know, that's how many of the transmissions from Ramana Maharshi is literally just dialogues and conversations of people who came to him and then just like recorded their dialogue with this mystic. So yeah, I don't know. Thank you. Matt Goose is saying, good stuff, bro. Good to be here. This year broke me in every way possible, so snap. Peace and chicken graze. Yeah. Yeah. 2024 is like, it's, I don't know, man. It's been rough. It's been tough for many, you know, for many I know as well. It's been a crazy, crazy year. I think it's only gonna get weirder and weirder, more crazy and more crazy, but also more exciting and more fun. And we're here to love it all, appreciate it all, you know, just love it all, appreciate it all. Sit back, relax, enjoy your life, have fun. That's about it, you know, enjoy the journey, enjoy the show. And don't take anything too serious. There's no need for us to be so serious. Like, what are we doing to take ourselves so serious? Let's sing a song. A song that is including all religions, all traditions, all perspectives, and yeah, I don't know. A blessing, a prayer for this earth, for the humans, for the illusionary perceived other beings that seemingly exist. May the love we're sharing spread its wings, fly across the earth and bring new joy to every soul that is alive. Let the blessings of the universe shine on everyone, and may we all see the light within. And now all Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the world be happy. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the world be happy. Salam alaikum, alaikum assalam, salam alaikum, alaikum assalam, salam alaikum. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem. Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. Om Mani Padme Om, Om Mani Padme Om, Om Mani Padme Om, Om Mani Padme Om, Om Mani Padme Om. Wakantanka, 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 oh wakantanka, wakantanka. Oh gran espíritu, oh gran espíritu, gran espíritu, gran espíritu, gran espíritu. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Beings in all the worlds be happy. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. Salam alaikum, alaikum assalam, salam alaikum. Alaikum assalam, salam alaikum. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Mata Kali, Om Mata Kali, Mata Kali, Om Mata Kali, Mata Kali. Satanam, 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 Satanam. That one doesn't go as well. Satanam, 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 Satanam. Oh, wow, wow. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Yes, may the love we're sharing spread its wings, fly across the earth and bring new joy to every soul that is alive. Let the blessings of the universe shine on everyone, and may we all see the light within. Thank you all. Much love. That was fun. I love you all. If you feel the call, check out the links in the video description. There is a call link to book a call with me so we can talk one-on-one about working together. I do offer one-on-one coaching, and there's going to be a private psychedelic actualization community platform with weekly live calls happening soon. And otherwise, there's a free guide, 5 steps to embody your psychedelic insights into daily life, a guide for your psychedelic integration that you can download for free. Sorry. No, not sorry. Yeah. It's way past my bedtime. It's 11:40 here. What the hell? That was a long live stream. Wow. I really have to pee right now. Thank you all. Thank you, Hans Wurst, for participating. Thank you for Mad Goose, The Dream, the 123, Jeff. Yeah, I love you all. I really appreciate you all being here. Gabriel, that was here earlier. Lincoln, Kali, Kuzan, Yanis. Thank you all. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you all. I love you all. And yeah, nothing more to say. Let's go, and everybody just sit for 10 minutes. Get off your phone, get off your computer, and enjoy some silence. Follow your breath and appreciate and be satisfied with the state of consciousness that you find yourself in, no matter how much pain and suffering and other funny human weird sensations you're experiencing. Enjoy them all. Thank you all.